John Cena kissing AJ? Oh man! What's up guys? Welcome back to Review Space, and I want to review last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, November 19, 2012. Yes, so indeed we have AJ jumping John Cena and totally just making out with him right in front of Vickie Guerrero, and this is just further proof, man, that they really are the one that's involved with each other. And it's true, all the scandal stuff that Vickie Guerrero is trying to push on and trying to like, oh my gosh, they're actually doing it. It's true, it seems. I mean, I guess they are actually a couple, perhaps. Cena gets attacked by Dolph Ziggler. Cena chased after him, but then he suffered some sort of ankle or leg injury or something just by trying to run after Dolph, so he kind of botched that. And then later that night, AJ confronted Dolph in the men's locker room, and then he goes on to verbally abuse her and calls her all kinds of names, dime a dozen, piece of trash, and he just seemed really like content, and he's just like smug about it. AJ attacked him right then and there, just completely lost it. Cena interferes, tries to hold back AJ, but then, of course, Dolph right away starts fighting Cena, and then they duke it out in a brawl. Dolph smashing John Cena through a washroom stall, and that was it. Cena was down. Looks like he was incapacitated there, and Dolph got the last laugh in that segment. It's really nice that they really have Dolph feuding against Cena. It's so refreshing, because it's like you have this young guy who's going to be a future champion. He's got the Money in the Bank briefcase. Don't know when he's going to cash it in. And it's sweet because he's feuding against the top guy of the company. And all of this is just rubbing off on Dolph. He's just looking better and better every single week. It's awesome. I don't know what they're going to do with his character and this whole AJ thing. Maybe eventually AJ ends up with Dolph in the future through some sort of weird twist. Like, this sort of reminds me of maybe this, I mean, Daniel Bryan and Kane and AJ, you know, that little triangle stuff that they had. But it also is shades of the Eve, Zack Ryder, John Cena thing. So, I don't know, man, they're kind of reusing ideas, but if it works, it works, and I think it is working. Let's move on. Ryback going up against Tensai. Man, you know what? This was just WWE's way of saying, hey, look what we can do with Ryback. Ryback can actually lift up Tensai and give him the shell shock. And he did. He was able to carry him. It looks almost like he wasn't gonna do it. Like when he grabbed him and he was about to lift him up, it was almost like he was struggling at first. Like, whoa, like, is he really gonna fail again? But he did it, and it was great. Wade Barrett going up against Kofi Kingston, non-title match. Wade Barrett defeats Kofi with his finisher. I think it's called a bullhammer. Really, my god, this is exactly Cassius Ohno's gimmick, aka Chris Hero. It's got the whole elbow KO thing going on. Again, it fits Wade Barrett's character, his you know, fighting bare knuckle fighter gimmick. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Cassius Ohno's finisher. Like, if they're gonna continue with his whole knockout thing, because that's his gimmick too, is being able to knock out his opponent. What kind of finishing move is he gonna have this time? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But it was a good win for Wade. I think he's gonna eventually win the IC title, and Kofi's just gonna stay in mid-card hell, and purgatory rather, and he's just not gonna move up further. I don't think they're gonna have any plans for Kofi in the main event. It just doesn't seem like it. Alright, we have the Token Divas match. Kaitlyn defeat Aksana. I don't think I paid attention to this match at all, so it was a way for Kaitlyn to sort of bounce back. I believe she lost the Survivor Series, and it was just a complete loss. Antonio Cesaro going up against Brodus Clay. He defeats Brodus Clay, and that was it. Randy Orton going up against Alberto Del Rio in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Randy Orton gets the win. This was actually a decent match. Oh, but I think I forgot to mention that the Wade Barrett Kofi Kingston match was actually really good. I mean, that was a really good match. I was interested in it. It was back and forth. Good match. This was decent too. Randy Orton against Alberto Del Rio. It was alright. I mean, out of all their matches so far, this one probably showed the most chemistry. They seemed a lot more comfortable with each other in terms of like taking each other's moves and just planning the whole thing out. It just seems like a well, like rehearsed, not even rehearsed, but just a well chemistry type of, you know, match. Khali defeating Primo and Epico. It was surprising to see Great Khali. I thought he was released or something. I haven't seen him in a long time. There's some ringside shenanigans with Hornswoggle and Rosa Mendez. You know, just some goofy stuff. But I thought it was it was entertaining, I guess. Hornswoggle, I can't believe he's still around. The Miz defeating David Otunga. Miz, he got a lot of cheers as the babyface. I guess he's a face now. Got a lot of good reaction. People are really like into him now. All of a sudden that he's babyface. I don't know. I mean, he's pretty mediocre inside the ring. He's not that impressive. But if people like him and he's relatively charismatic, I guess that's a good thing. Sheamus defeating Damian Sandow. Didn't really watch this one. I like Damian, but I'm not a fan of Sheamus at all. So any match he's involved in, I'm just like tuning out. I just don't care. Team Hell No going up against Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara. They win via disqualification. They got attacked by the primetime players who were doing commentary during this match. Titus O'Neil actually had some good back and forth commentary with Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole. Darren Young was buried, I think, in this segment. I mean, it was just kind of sad. He didn't have any comebacks. You know, it was the whole time Michael Cole was just needling him and attacking him, and it's like, come on, say something. You know, you're the quiet one. You never say anything. It's like Titus O'Neil is doing all the work. Titus was great. I thought he really did a good job of like putting across his personality, and that was this. I gotta say, this was probably a defining moment for Titus O'Neil in some ways. Like, wow, we get to hear it, a chance to hear this guy talk and say something. Yeah, the PTP, they attacked Kane and the rest of the other guys, but then they also got attacked by Rey Mysterio and stuff like that. So there's, you know, obvious like tag team turmoil, tension going on there. There's still a chance these guys could win the tag team championships. I mean, I think that they're eventually gonna get it if they keep this up, if they keep up this personality, this relative charisma that they have, because they do have some likability. They're not the best in ring, but they do take the bumps well, and they have some sort of chemistry against their opponents like Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara and those guys. It seems like they're at least very serious about being a tag team. They're trying to make it work. And the final segment was Paul Heyman and CM Punk celebrating 1 year, 365 days of Punk's reign. And Ryback interferes, or he sort of interrupts, rather. He tries to attack CM Punk, but then he gets jumped instead by the three guys from not last night, but Survivor Series. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, all three guys from WWE NXT, which used to be FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, developmental basically. And I mean, it was cool to see them. You know, when they debuted on Survivor Series, I was marking out. I was pretty happy. I was like, finally, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose too. Jon Moxley. You know, these guys are really good independent wrestlers that have made a name for themselves. So it's I'm glad that they got a chance now. Now they finally are getting some spotlight. We'll see where this goes. It could be a stable. It might not be. Who knows what's going to happen. If they'll bring back Brad Maddox or any of these other guys. Initially, I thought that when Ryback got jumped in Survivor Series, I thought, okay, that's the angle. Indie guys who are maybe a little bit smaller or just unknown, you know, not the biggest muscular guys, attacking the hand-picked WWE muscle guy. that's ryback. You know, it's like they're attacking him because he's a representative, a symbol of the corporation, you know, Vince McMahon's like choice, instead of like the independent, you know, really good, well-traveled young worker. He picks these muscular bodybuilder types that don't have a lot of experience instead. And so that's maybe a reason why he got attacked. Maybe they were just defending CM Punk. Maybe because they're all friends. I mean, I don't know what the backstory is here. They haven't really interacted. Even CM Punk didn't even... I think he never even really talked to them. He never said anything. He never... It's like there was no knowledge of the idea that you have these three guys. He didn't know anything about this. But I think there's a, you know, again, there's a backstory. There's some sort of background. They might explain it at a later time. It's good stuff. I actually like it. You know, it reminds me of when the Nexus attacked John Cena the first time. Some people are comparing it to the Aces and Eights, which I understand that, but it's not the first thing that popped in my head. To me, the Aces and Eights is a little bit more... It's a little bit different. It's TNA. It's not as big. It's more random, you know, and everybody's wearing a mask anyway, so it doesn't seem like these are real wrestlers, just kind of just random people. Overall, this episode of Raw was actually pretty decent. Some things were worth mentioning, and again, I like the match between Barrett and Kofi. And it was a nice little kind of storytelling type of Raw. They built up some stuff and they set up some stuff for a later pay-per-view. That's it for this episode of Review Space. Thank you for watching. Till next time, ciao.